This is the Troll Patrol. Live. With Justin. FREAKIN.
Welcome to the Troll Patrol. Live. It's a freaking Friday. It's a Super Friday. Here on this Super Bowl weekend. Of course, I keep referring to the Super Bowl as a weekend concert because that's the part I'm looking forward to. I actually invited someone to come over, and they said, I can't imagine you watching football. And I said, well, I don't really care about the football. The Weeknd, he's one of my favorite artists. If it hadn't been for COVID, I would have absolutely seen The Weeknd in concert this year. I'm dumbfounded by the fact that a man who every song he sings is about doing meth and ecstasy and having sex with women he don't know the name of. Every song. Every single one of them. And yet he is one of the biggest stars in the world. And he got the Super Bowl halftime slot. I'm excited. It has been confirmed he will be singing his own vocals live. That doesn't happen. They actually record the vocals beforehand. So they're recording it live. It's actually live vocals. Most artists. There's a handful that don't. You usually have to be big enough to be able to buck the NFL. Namely, Prince. Which if you were to ask me my favorite Super Bowl halftime show of all time. Everybody knows my affinity for Michael Jackson, but I would say my favorite halftime show is by and away, by far, Prince. That motherfucker rocked that halftime show. I watch it periodically just because I'm a live music fanatic. And to me, that is one of the best live performances I've ever witnessed. With just that little bit of rain coming down as he's doing Purple Rain, a song that I never really even liked Purple Rain, but my God, does he well on that fucking guitar. And he's actually live, unlike the Red Hot Chili Peppers, his guitar is plugged in. He's actually playing those notes live on that stage. Lady Gaga also did her vocals live, is actually playing the piano. Because of course Lady Gaga is. Michael Jackson lip sync. But he lip sync. So I was watching a Michael Jackson concert the other day from the History Tour. And he sings some in the concert, but he's lip syncing a lot of it. I ran everybody off. I've got nobody in here watching me anymore just because I was talking about we came for the politics and you're talking about Super Bowl halftime shows. My apology. Oh, it is Friday night. You can tell it's a freaking Friday because I got the party lights going. Smoke them if you got them. The last time I bought pot, I bought a quarter pound, and my dealer did not give me anything off of it. He did not knock any money off of my quarter pound, and I got a little upset. I didn't actually say anything about it because I like this dealer. He gave me $100 off today, but about 3 ounces, so I'll take that. Hell yeah. I'm ready for the Super Bowl. I did my shopping today. I'm doing nachos and wings. Making my wing sauce from scratch. Honey sriracha. Mwah. I've got the wings going. I'm gonna do nachos. I got avocado to make some guac. Gonna make a badass cheese sauce. Got some queso fresco. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a hell of a night. All for a 20-minute fucking concert. If my friend would like to continue watching the game, we'll watch the game. If not, then I'm okay if we turn it off after the concert's over. Because all I really care about is watching The Weeknd. I can't even tell you the two teams that are in the Super Bowl. Is it Tampa Bay and Kansas City, maybe? I'm pretty sure it's Tampa Bay. I'm like 50% sure it's Kansas City. Not exactly sure. But the Weeknd is in the halftime show. Oh shit. I am correct on that one. Oh, thank you. I don't really keep up with football. Now I do know about football because I played like Madden games when I was in junior high. So I know the game. I can follow it and everything. I know what's going on. I just don't care that much. Anyway, let's get to the politics, the thing that we're all here for. Earlier today, the House passed a budget resolution clearing the way for the stimulus coronavirus relief bill that is going to give us our $1,400. Yes, it's still going to be $1,400. I'm glad the Democrats have decided to go at it alone.
Vote, the yeas are 219 and the nays are 209. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
So this is to go through reconciliation with the Senate.
House Resolution 101, Senate Concurrent Resolution 5 is hereby adopted.
The Senate passing their bill early in the morning. But I guess the big story of the day, besides the clearing of the way for the budget bill, is the attacks on Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Let's hear first, before we do this, let's hear from Representative Mace. Nancy Mace, I don't even know what district she represents.
Cortez said that rioters actually entered her.
She was on Fox News. I believe this was night before last.
Legislative Director Geraldo Bonilla Chavez told her to hide, run, and hide. You were down the hall. What actually happened that day?
Right. I was actually 2 doors down. My office is 2 doors down from AOC. And not at one moment during the events of January 6th did any rioter or any insurrectionist come down the hallways where our offices are located. I initially, took to...
See, do you see what she did? She made a factual statement, but she is implying that AOC said that there were insurrectionists in the hallways. AOC did not. She told the story of a Capitol Police officer being very hostile to her and yelling like, "Where is she?" into her office. She never made this is what they are predicating. All these posts about how AOC has lied, this is what they are predicating it on. These lies that they are telling.
Task the press for making these claims, taking these claims to apocalyptic levels, and all I did was state the facts. I live in reality. I deal with facts and not fiction. And I said that there were no rioters in the hallways of Cannon. I'm 2 doors down from you, and she lost it today. She doesn't deal in reality. She hasn't been doing that today. I think it's really important that we take members to task when they're not being honest with the American people. This division is hurting our country.
Congresswoman, are you, just to be clear, alleging that she fabricated this entire story for political reasons? Or is it possible she had a different experience? She knew this was going on. And
right. I'm not going to discount the trauma.
Oh, she's from South Carolina.
That day, they were traumatic. I've been very strong on those.
Oh, you're not going to discount the trauma. That sounds like what you're doing.
I felt like my life was in danger. These are all things that I've said. I sent my children home early that week because
she just said she felt like her life was in danger. So what exactly is it that you are accusing AOC of lying about? That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around.
I was worried about violence that might transpire on Wednesday, January 6th. But at no time were there rioters at our doors banging to get in. And I think that, also attacking...
Once again, the story AOC told was a Capitol Police officer banging on her door.
The Capitol Police this week. She did that earlier this week. She did that last month. The only thing standing between us and the rioters in our office building were the Capitol Police, and they were outnumbered. And I'm not going to discount
and possibly complicit, some of them.
We have to be factual when we describe what actually happened. And I'm telling the truth today. That's simply it.
She is absolutely lying. So we're going to look at the tweets between the two of them. So this is Mace's tweet. AOC made clear that she didn't know who was at her door. Breathless attempts by media to fan fictitious news flames are dangerous. My office is 2 doors down. Insurrectionists never stormed our hallway. What is she accusing Newsweek of saying? Well, then that's Newsweek getting that wrong then. Because we watched the video, AOC never said that. So, okay, maybe she has a problem with Newsweek, and why is Newsweek saying that? Odd. So AOC responded, "This is a deeply cynical and disgusting attack. As the Capitol complex was stormed and people were being killed, none of us knew in the moment what areas were compromised. You previously told reporters yourself that you barricaded yourself in your office, afraid you'd be hurt." It's Super Bowl weekend, Breed Creed. This is my Super Bowl. The troll has a fucking football helmet on. How cool is that? That's neat. Do not disparage my Super Bowl banner. She needs to change her middle initial to Q. I did my best to not talk about Green tonight because we did the 4-hour marathon about Green yesterday. Holy shit. So, wild that Nancy Mace is discrediting herself less than 1 month in office with such dishonest attacks. I agree. She went on record saying she barricaded in fear. Here she is. Hold on. I clicked the wrong one. Here she is actually
try to put in
saying
some kind of words, if you have them now, for what that experience is like.
As I said, you must have missed the opening because I went on a whole tirade about how it's a weekend concert. I don't give a shit about the Super Bowl.
When we were evacuated because of the bomb threat, the pipe bomb threat, I was stuck in a narrow tunnel with 100
pipe bomb threat. I saw somebody else on a thread today who was like, "Oh, well, they didn't bring any weapons." The fuck they didn't bring any weapons? They planted pipe bombs. The fuck are you talking about?
Congress. It was a very dangerous situation. Lives were put at risk. And my message to Americans today is it was a very sad day in our nation's history. I brought my children up here last weekend for the swearing in, and it's a historic moment for the state of South Carolina, a proud moment, first Republican woman elected to Congress from our state. But at the end of the day on Sunday, I bought my kids the first ticket home on Monday morning because I was watching the rhetoric on social media, the things that were being said, and I did not have a good feeling. I felt uncomfortable about what might occur on Wednesday, the violence that could happen. And thank God my motherly instincts kicked in, and my children were not here to witness what everyone was horrified by yesterday. This was not protests. These were rioters. This was anarchy.
So this is when she could use her personal experience and weaponize it for political gain and try to gain sympathy. But then she'll contradict herself to try to weaponize her experience and use it against AOC.
And I've been very vocal about it. I've been condemning it. I hope that more of my colleagues will condemn it too. It's wrong, and we've got to rebuild our nation.
And the problem with that is that you go to these right-wing sites, the Breitbarts and shit. The people that are on those sites, they have no clue what AOC actually said. They have no clue. All they hear is this woman say AOC is lying. And she didn't actually make a claim about what AOC was lying about. She implied that it was the insurrectionists in the hallway bullshit. So it's a really dirty rhetorical trick. I think that, I usually say right-wingers are morons. This woman's kind of smart. She knows what she's doing. That was very calculated.
And we've got to rebuild the Republican Party after this. And I didn't get a chance really to see some of the images yesterday combined and culminated and pulled together. And I did that this morning when I woke up. And
Marjorie Taylor Greene is a fucking moron. This woman is smart and quite possibly sociopathic.
Brought me to tears. I am heartbroken, I'm devastated, and I'm pissed off. I'm angry because this didn't need to happen.
I know. Well, how can you say she's sociopathic? Because she said she's heartbroken, she's sad, and she's angry. She's pissed off, whatever the fuck she said. Her expression never changed. Now, staffers on Capitol Hill have written letters. Nearly 400 Capitol Hill staffers wrote a letter to U.S. senators begging them to convict Trump next week at the impeachment trial. You damn right I'm going to be streaming it. We're gonna get in on those proceedings. It's going to be batshit. Supposedly it's going to start on Tuesday. If it actually gets started on Tuesday, that will be the rules and all that shit. There will be several votes on rules and procedures and so we probably won't even really get into the good shit until Wednesday or Thursday. But whenever the good shit picks up, you damn right I'm going to be taking to the stream to cover it. More than 370 Capitol Hill staffers signed an open letter. The request stems from Trump's role in inciting the violent attack at the Capitol, per the letter. For our sake and the sake of the country, we ask that they vote to convict the former president and bar him from ever holding office again. On January 6, 2021, our workplace was attacked by a violent mob trying to stop the Electoral College vote count. That mob was incited by former President Donald J. Trump and his political allies, some of whom we pass every day in the hallways at work. Hell yeah. By the way, Winch, how many times have I misspelled your name? How many times have I misspelled Winch and you haven't said anything? I called you a wrench the other day. I was like, how many times have I done that and not realized it? It's one of those things I wish I could blame autocorrect. But no, that was just me being stupid. Just I type really fast and I typed out wrench. I'll smoke to that. By the way, for all you stoners that might be watching, I want you to stay tuned. We have a I about said fantastic. It's a very sad story because unfortunately the guy died, but he did something super cool. I'll call you Al if you'll be my bodyguard. Yeah, I made a Paul Simon joke. Alright, I forgot what I was doing now. You said the word stoned and I just used it as an opportunity to take a hit. This is Roger Stone. By the way, stick around. We'll watch a little bit of the Mike Lindell. Apparently Dave is gonna watch it later on Echoplex. I might pop in for that. We're gonna watch a little taste of it here. I think he's going to watch the whole thing. I don't know that I'd be able to make it through the whole thing unless I was, a little later in the night. Surrounded by friends to make fun of it. This is Roger Stone with the Oath Keepers. That stone pipe is so toad. With the Oath Keepers on the morning of January the 6th. Looks like this footage is coming to us from Black Conservative Preacher.
All right. I promised this lady a picture.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Any questions should I ask you guys?
Of course he's going over to the woman. He's known as a womanizer. Apparently him and his wife are swingers. I feel like I might be friends with him if he wasn't such a sleazebag.
Appreciate you. Thank you very much. So hopefully we have this today, right? We shall see. We shall see. We're hoping so.
This is my Jewish brother.
That we have what? A riot?
Support you. Excellent. Vote for Trump.
I remember Roger Stone has been financially connected to the rally.
All right, thank you.
Roger Stone is in Donald Trump confidant. Roger Stone.
What's up, brother? Yay! Hell yeah, brother.
You look good too. You look. God bless you. God bless you.
Better in person, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh wow! Somebody tried to butter him up.
God bless you.
That's how you get his attention for sure. Oh shit!
Take a picture. Take my
Let's
photo.
go. Absolutely.
Sorry, here. Oh, God bless you. Oh, we love you, Roger. You both feel so good.
Ready?
What a fucking sleazebag! And he's being protected by the Oath Keepers. They're like standing watch on him. Yes.
The camera, so I can't do it.
It's the Oath Keepers. It's not the Proud Boys.
Thank you.
Same difference though. They're all fucking crazy right-wing militias.
All right, I'll get a pic. I'll ask somebody to take a picture of me, and then they can send it to me. Maybe could you take a picture?
I feel like I know that guy from somewhere.
Get one more. My mask was in my face. I'm so sorry. And then I'll take a picture. This one over here. I'm so sorry. This looks terrible. And then we'll get this gentleman. His coat feels so good.
Wow.
Got it.
God bless you. Now, this gentleman, this is a beautiful camera.
But like we have so much evidence connecting Trump to all of this. It should be a no-brainer on conviction, but the Republicans are spineless, and they're scared to death of the Trump voters. Because clearly they can't win without the motivated Trump voter. There's not enough of them. And there's not enough of them. They don't have enough support because they say stupid shit like this. This is Senator John Kennedy from Louisiana.
Also, what do you make of the climate change agenda of this new administration, and what impact is it going to have on workers in your state and throughout the country?
Well, let me say a word about President Biden's executive orders on oil and gas. Trey, they are immeasurably foolish. They're going to gut Louisiana like a fish. 1/3 of my state's GDP is related to oil and gas. And our state is not alone. His war on oil and gas is going to hurt America. It's going to destroy our energy independence. Here's President Biden's new energy policy. We're not going to produce our own oil. Instead, we're going to buy oil from countries that hate us, so they'll...
Immeasurably foolish is a hell of a line. I'll give him that. Thank you, Sierra, for pointing that out. Time to get a new trade, motherfucker. He's launching this attack against the guy that was vice president in the administration that actually made us energy independent and brought the price of gas down. I don't understand these motherfuckers talking about gas prices going up. I lived through the Bush administration. That's the most expensive gas in my lifetime under a Republican. In the 2005-2006 time after Hurricane Katrina, we were looking at like $4.50, $5 a gallon. Exactly, and the oil industry is costing us. They never talk about the environmental cost. At least in other countries, they actually tax at the pump to account for the cleanup costs that are associated with these dirty jobs. But let's please continue, Senator Kennedy.
We'll have more money to buy weapons to try to kill us. It's immeasurably foolish. Most Americans support an all-of-the-above energy policy. Oil, gas, wind, solar, nuclear, geothermal, hydrogen. But they also understand that we can't run the greatest economy in all of human history without oil and gas. Not now, and not probably for a long time. I don't know about you, Trey, but my car doesn't run off fairy dust. My car doesn't run off unicorn urine. And I think once again, President Biden has given...
Once again, Republicans with the astute lesson in physics and chemistry. Cars do not run on unicorn urine. One more time.
Probably for a long time. I don't know about you, Trey, but my car doesn't run off fairy dust. My car doesn't run off unicorn urine. And once again, President Biden has given in...
Emphasis on the fairy dust. Because next to Lindsey Graham, if there is one senator that is closeted, it's that one. Holy shit. Cars do not run on unicorn urine. Right-wingers are fucking morons. Now, we played the video of Mike Lindell on Newsmax the other night. Apparently, Newsmax has had to apologize to Mike Lindell.
Folks, if you watch American...
I would assume not for any kind of legal reason, but because they're afraid of losing their nut job fucking viewers who love the Mr. Pillow guy.
Yesterday, you may have seen something out of the ordinary happen during an interview with Mike Lindell, the CEO of MyPillow. Mike is a friend of this network, and we were supposed to discuss Twitter's decision to ban him and the impacts of cancel culture on his business. But there was some confusion, and Mike thought that we were to talk about vote fraud.
They're absolute fucking idiots.
It's a topic we have covered extensively on Newsmax. I was frustrated that we couldn't focus on the current, very pressing issue of free speech and cancel culture. And in hindsight, there is no question that I could have handled the end of the interview.
Cancel culture.
At Newsmax, we seek out all points of view. Mike was back on Newsmax last night with Rob Schmidt on his show to continue the conversation about cancel culture and the censorship by social media. Mike also made clear he thinks Newsmax is great, his words, and I can tell you he will continue to be an important guest on Newsmax. I think you'll enjoy what Mike had to say last night, so here it is.
Let's hear it.
Well, they took down my personal one too, and then just yesterday, I actually put up on my Pillow account, I put down, hey you guys, here's what I posted on my personal, why Jack took this down, and it was a nice letter from one of my employees because my integrity is getting attacked everywhere right now. And
what integrity?
And so now it's funny. All the news media was reaching out to me today, going, "Well, how are you going to get your messaging out there? How are you going to talk to?"
Imagine going from crackhead to CEO to crackpot. They did try to cancel him. They had to apologize for dishing out some censorship on their own. I could not imagine having to kiss Mike Lindell's ass.
Your customers, and you know what? Our customers have always stepped up right now. It's amazing. Just like Newsmax did, you know.
I definitely couldn't imagine kissing him. I can't imagine anybody would kiss that man.
.com and you saved up to 66%, and you can still do that. You guys.
Oh my! He's fucking 66% on fucking pillows.
It's not just Twitter.
Apparently, David Hogg is launching a pillow brand to compete with MyPillow.
Companies that are on Twitter, those guys are the ones that attacked all these box stores and stuff. So then it just cancel culture just keeps on spreading.
Yeah. And like you said, how many of these people are actually real? How many people are actually offended by any of the things that we're so worried about canceling in this society right now? All of it is so stupid. We talked to you last week about former business partners that have dropped your products from their shelves, just like you're just talking about.
Which is their right in a free market, right?
Weathering that storm, and what do you think is next for your business?
Well, I want to add one more to that list to make sure we don't forget that Mattress Firm dropped us this week. and Shop HQ in Minnesota. So they just keep piling on. I think they sit out there and they go, okay, now we can do it. My pillow won't notice. But you know what? I want to tell them they're the biggest ones that are the losers, because they're the ones losing the real customers, and they end up coming right to my pillow now. And great companies,
I'm not going to besmirch someone for crack, but it would surprise me after all the pressure that he's been under if he doesn't relapse. Come on.
Been buying, and we've been so busy.
This is a man that is mere weeks away from jacking it in San Diego.
Every one of you out there that have bought my pillow, we have over 110 products too. We're not just
into a My Pillow. He's going to jack it in San Diego into a My Pillow.
I'm glad to hear you guys are hiring and that the business is surviving this, because it is scary. I mean, it really scares a lot of people, and that's why everybody's walking around on eggshells, because they're worried that if they don't cancel you.
Yes, cancel culture. That is all that these motherfuckers ever talk about. They think that's how they can make headlines, is by talking about cancel culture, like Lauren Boebert, who was on Fox News with Laura Ingraham talking about cancel culture after the Marjorie Taylor Greene vote.
You were singled out by the head of the Democrat Congressional Campaign Committee as being next. Your response tonight?
I have been on their list since the day I announced. This certainly isn't a surprise to me. It's kind of a game of whack-a-mole at this point. So you kind of knock one down and three more pop up. But I'm encouraged, because I know that the DCCC is terrified.
In that analogy she just made about the whack-a-mole, who is the mole? Is the mole the GOP Congress people that they're trying to take out? Yeah, you say fairly elected. Isn't this the election that you tried to dispute the results of, ma'am? But I still want to know, who was she referring to as a mole in that analogy? Herself? You whack a Marjorie Taylor Greene and a Lauren Boebert pops up over here? That seems like an odd thing to say about yourself.
Of what this freshman class is doing, where the Republican Party is going, and the momentum that is still behind us in 74 million Americans. And I am proud to be a part of this. I am honored to be the first woman to represent the people of Colorado's 3rd District, the first mom that has been sent to Washington, D.C. to be their voice. And so the DCCC can throw whatever they want at me. It's not going to stick. I'll keep whacking down the moles. And you're exactly right.
The
we can't just keep
Democrats are the moles.
Republicans to the DCCC and to the Democrat Party. They will look after their next head to scalp.
But this isn't about, I just want to make this very clear to everyone watching now. We have to translate Washington to the rest of the country every night. With all due respect, it's not about you. It's not about Congresswoman Greene. It's not.
They translate Washington into their own filter of propaganda so that they can misinform people, and then I watch them and then translate them for you guys. Sorry, it's a symbiotic relationship that we're working on here.
It's not about any one of you. This is about trying to take out anyone ever connected to Donald Trump, because they don't want to have to spend that much money again to meet someone like him in 2024. That means take out anyone connected with him. They said it's a third of the Republican Party or a third of the country. Still,
I would fucking welcome Donald Trump to run again if the fucking Democrats were competent. Because it's a slam dunk to beat Donald Trump if you run a good candidate that actually does something for the people. I don't have that much confidence in the Democrats. He should be barred from running. My concern not so much is barring him from running for office. That's not the part that I would focus on if I was trying to sell things as a Democrat. If I was a Democratic strategist on MSNBC or something, I would sell it as revoking his pension so that we're not paying for that motherfucker this entire time. That he doesn't have Secret Service on the taxpayer's dime. It's not just Boebert and Greene. There's some other fucking... Louis Gohmert is a nut job. Madison Cawthorn is another one that we need to look at. So we talked about yesterday on the stream, we talked about the difference between people who are stupid in the Republican Party and people who are smart. I don't know that Boebert is smart enough to really understand QAnon. She may, though. She may. She's a decent speaker.
They want to brand as racist or white supremacist, even though they were quite popular among various minority groups.
Laura, you are absolutely right. This is a movement that the Democrats can't seem to stop. They have spent millions of dollars trying to do that. And in all of this,
she got her GED in 2020.
And show that they're never going to hold one another accountable.
I mean, it's never
to stand on their own and be accountable for their own decisions.
I don't want to knock somebody for continuing their education, for going back, getting your GED. That's a wonderful thing. I encourage anybody to do that. However, perhaps we shouldn't elect somebody who has a GED to Congress. That may just be me. I kind of want somebody who's had a well-rounded liberal arts education immediately before I better go get my GED because it'll look bad on me while I'm running for Congress. God. She's from Colorado. I shouldn't do a southern accent. I'm sitting in Alabama doing a fucking southern accent for somebody from Colorado. Surely that is... But what point in 2020 had she already won the primary? Did she win the Republican primary without even being a high school graduate and then went and got her GED? Because, oh God, it might look bad in the general. Or did she go get it before she actually ran in the primary?
Decisions. Really, the Democrat Party is a party of cancel culture. That's a pillar of the Democrat Party. When you have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez accusing Senator Cruz of nearly murdering her, or comparing Congressman Chip...
Not what she accused Cruz of doing. She accused Cruz of inciting the people that wanted to have her murdered. By feeding into the lie that the Republican Party, or at least Trump and his minions, keep telling, that the election was stolen when it wasn't.
Roy's actions to a sexual abuser. This is ridiculous, and someone at some time needs to hold them accountable.
No. I think that analogy was great, unlike your whack-a-mole analogy.
Former congressmen, who don't have to actually answer to constituents anymore, like the never-Trumper Charlie Dent. And he thinks he has a way of saving the GOP. Watch.
The party needs to make a clean break from Trump, and I would argue a clean break from Trumpism, with all of its ugly populism, isolationism, protectionism. We need to empower Adam Kinzinger and those who want a new direction for the party that is much more socially tolerant, constructively engaged on the international and domestic stage.
What he means by socially tolerant is not a white supremacist party that's racist as fuck, xenophobic.
I certainly didn't come here to oppose Republicans. That's not the fight that I was sent here to be a part of. And so my agenda is taking back the House in 2022 and representing the people of Colorado. But I don't see the Republican Party going away from this America First agenda. Laura, that's what motivated me to get to Washington, D.C. I have 4 children. I know that conservative values are what leads them to a free and prosperous life.
I can't even imagine having one child.
Dependent on Democrat policies, and those policies failed me. They led me to stand in line for government cheese. Well, because the American dream is still available, now I'm in Washington, D.C., fighting to make sure no one else ever has to do that.
Well, they're afraid of you. You're optimistic, you're young, you're new, and they want to scare you. And it sounds like they're not doing it.
She never stood in line for government cheese.
Thank you so much.
That's not something that's happened in this country in fucking 50 years. Longer. What the fuck is she talking about? Holy shit. Speaking of shit, Mike Lindell's Absolute Proof documentary got yanked down from YouTube. Nothing wrong with working at 15. That's right around the time I started working. Oh, so they've got it. They got it up on Vimeo, but there's a false information thing. There is a. Wait, she already had a child at 15? Well, I guess. Oh God. It really does sound like she's from Eastern Kentucky. That's like the story of all of my neighbors from where I'm from. This is the disclaimer that starts that bookends the Mike Lindell documentary that's airing on OAN.
Airtime for the broadcast of this program on One America News Network. Mr. Lindell is the sole author and executive producer of this program and is solely and exclusively responsible for its content. The topic of this broadcast is the 2020 election. OAN has undertaken its own reporting on this topic. This program is not the product of OAN's reporting.
Now, Dominion and Smartmatic have already informed OAN this ain't good enough. We warned you about doing this shit.
Producers or advertisers are theirs and theirs alone, and are not adopted or endorsed by OAN or its owners. In particular, OAN
and apparently the Smartmatic Dominion people, their lawyers,
in this program
feel that this is just a final nail in the coffin of their case, that they've won.
Inc. And any related
they might very well take down OAN.
Brian Kemp, Brad Raffensperger, or Gabriel Sterling. Further, the statements and claims expressed.
So let's get a little taste of it. Here we go.
Miracles that happened these last couple months. The first miracle was on election night. And on election night at 11:15 at night, the algorithms of these machines basically broke. And this will be explained during this show. But they broke. What that means...
They basically broke. Does he even know what a goddamn algorithm is? How does an algorithm break, Mike? I would love for him to explain this.
Is Donald Trump got so many more millions of votes that they didn't expect that they're going to have to go recalibrate, right? So that's why all these states shut down. All of a miracle.
No. I got for legal purposes, I got to point out that they did not produce any of this footage. Apparently, Lindell produced everything, and they are not associated with it. What they are saying is that was a paid ad. That Mike Lindell paid for the hour of ad time. They're actually airing it 12 different times over the course of the next 3 or 4 days. It's yanked down from YouTube, but looks like it's on Vimeo. Do you want to... get a little... Nope, it's been yanked down from Vimeo. Because it counted too much. So, I'm sure it's out there if you guys would like to torture yourselves by going and finding Mike Lindell. Mike Pence is starting a podcast. I called it. It was one of the things that, leading up to the election, I kept asking everybody, what do you think Mike Pence is going to do afterwards? And me knowing that he came from radio, I figured he would start a podcast. Returning to his radio roots after 22 years, the former vice president will launch a podcast in the coming months, hosted by the Young America's Foundation, a conservative youth organization dating back to the 1960s. Pence will join YAF as the group's first Ronald Reagan Presidential Scholar and is expected to become a regular member of its campus lecture circuit once it's safe to resume such events. Now, one of the things I didn't know about, I knew Mike Pence had a radio show. I didn't know that Mike Pence had a TV show.
Calling all pundits and mavens, put down that remote because the Mike Pence Show is on the air. Indie TV presents 30 minutes.
I am not stoned enough for this. We're going to watch a few minutes of it.
Cool topics. And a host whose wife picks out his tie for every show.
Mom picks out his tie. Or mother. He calls her mother, doesn't he?
Welcome to the Mike Pence Show. Where were you at precisely 12 o'clock noon this past Tuesday? Chances are you'll never forget watching this.
Where was I at 12 o'clock noon this past Tuesday? Almost certainly sitting in this chair, right? Probably editing a podcast or some shit. Maybe laying on the couch drinking. At noon, I might still be drinking coffee. They are grifters, absolutely. But you are really going to enjoy this because this motherfucker thinks he's Dave Letterman or some shit.
This.
Superior Court of California County.
Oh God! Oh fuck!
People of the state of California.
I remember exactly where I was when this happened. I was in 6th fucking grade. And I remember my fucking teachers fucking, when they announced the not guilty verdict, her goddamn jaw hit the floor. I remember exactly where I was when this happened. I do not remember where I was this past Tuesday.
Versus Orenthal James Simpson, case number BA097211. We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187.
OJ has been vaccinated.
Simpson, a human being, as charged in count 1 of the information.
It's the Chewbacca defense.
In the above entitled action, find the defendant Orenthal James Simpson not guilty of the crime of murder in violation of Penal Code Section 187A, a felony upon Ronald Lyle Goldman, a human being, as charged in count 2 of the information.
If anybody hasn't watched the American Crime Story with John Travolta,
whether you agree or
I forget who all else was in it. It was really fucking good.
Simpson would walk out of that courtroom a free man. So what will the verdict mean for Hoosiers? Did a guilty man go free, or was a corrupt system exposed? Will juries in Indiana respond to racial politics in the future? O.J. Simpson, the Indiana verdict. For my part, I saw race as a non-issue. The issue was murder, 2 counts.
Yeah, this guy doesn't see race.
History of spousal abuse and the blood evidence was more than enough to overcome the reasonable doubt about his guilt. But, you know, I'm less troubled about one guilty man going free than I am about a system.
Race couldn't possibly play. For those of you who are unaware, L.A. had just been engulfed in riots a couple years earlier before this trial. So race riots? No.
System that seems to have lost all credibility with a distinct part of our population. The question now, it seems, is how does our criminal justice system win back the faith of all the American people? As always, we'll look at the issue from both sides. First up is Professor Henry Carlson of IU's Law School to argue for the prosecution. And later, David Shahid, former president of the Marion County Bar Association, will give us a more pro-defense view. Also, Peter Rustoven and Michael Gradison will slug out the issues in our bullpen, and we'll even hear from our own answer to Court TV, Reed Duffy.
Very correct.
For you Indie TV viewers suffering from OJ withdrawal, here's the top 5 things OJ addicts will do now that the trial is over.
He's gonna do a top 5 list.
Open their mail. Number 4, relearn the names of immediate family members. Number 3, check the expiration dates on items in the fridge. Number 2, find out who this Newt fella is. And the number 1 thing that you OJ addicts will do now that the trial is over is take the kids to see that big new hit movie, The Lion King. O.J. Simpson.
Christian comedy, everybody. Oh, he cracked himself up. Look at him. He's so proud of himself.
This is perhaps the biggest thing that's happened in any case in this country in this decade.
Did you plant or manufacture any evidence in this case?
I assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
This is not now the Furman trial. This is a trial about the man that murdered my son.
Welcome back to the Mike Pence Show. Welcome back to the Mike Pence Show.
I love it. I love it. It's amateur hour over here.
By one of the leading authorities on criminal law.
Welcome back to the Mike Pence Show. What? Hold up, what? I was getting ready to... Yes. That's Mike Pence. That was his TV show. We were playing this because Mike Pence is getting ready to start his own podcast. And I knew he was a radio host and actually heard some of his work. I did not know he was a TV host until about 2 hours ago. So I wanted to share that with you guys because that was very cringe. Not as cringe as your murder for hire plot going wrong. Now this one's going to be a little complicated. We're going to try to have to figure it out together, what exactly happened here.
Cormier.
I'll tell you who's not a member of SAG anymore, and that's Donald Trump, who resigned yesterday before they could kick him out. This one is insane. They didn't get the right person. I can't even try to describe the story. Like, we're gonna have to piece it together ourselves here. Help me out, guys.
Andrew Eskeen and Dalvin Wilson are now each facing 1 count of criminal conspiracy to commit murder and 1 count of attempted first-degree murder. Cormier allegedly hired 2 of his friends to silence a rape victim to keep her from testifying. The rape victim was not killed, and instead someone else at the home, Brittany Cormier, and her neighbor Hope Nettleton died as a result of their injuries. Investigators say the new charges stem from 2 prior incidents when the suspects conducted surveillance on the home and attempted to commit the crime, but weren't successful.
Whoa, dude raped a woman and then hired somebody to kill her to keep her quiet? Oh, what? The Terrebonne Parish Sheriff's Office announced the arrest of the 3 men Friday, January the 13th, on double homicide. According to investigators, Beau Cormier was previously arrested in Vermilion Parish for third-degree rape in a case pending a criminal case in Vermilion Parish court system. The sheriff says in order to beat the charge, he hired Eskine and Wilson to kill the rape victim. They went to the home and asked for the rape victim by name. Instead, investigators say Brittany Cormier, who was the sister of Beau, said it was her to protect the... So she said she was the rape victim in order to protect the victim. And then she was shot and killed. Hope Nettleton was Brittany's neighbor and was there and tried to fight off the suspects, but she was also killed. Holy shit! Getting lazier. Americans have always been lazy. Alright, so this is the one, like, you guys have to see this video. It's awesome, but it's got a sad ending.
Boston. Spencer Boston is the next one on the list up here.
Now, this happened last year in Wilson County, Tennessee. So it would have had like the 3rd week of January last year, just a couple months before the pandemic started.
Sure, I've got someone filling out for me.
Or a couple months before the lockdown.
Mr. Boston, he said he wants to represent himself in this case. I told him today was just an arraignment. It's either guilty, not guilty type day.
Damn right, it's a power move.
So he didn't want to talk to me after that, so that's why he was.
Started talking, son.
Yes, sir. I think it's very unfair, the marijuana law here. I think we the people deserve better because marijuana is a very harmless drug, and it's been around for ages, since the 80s and 90s.
I've heard that baloney all my life, so don't go any further on that.
Yes, sir.
I don't know whether it's good or bad. All I know is
Yes,
Tennessee still has it against the law. I swore to uphold the laws, and I have to uphold the laws as a judge. It probably is unfair, but I can't change it. You've got to go see the legislature to get that changed.
Yes, sir.
And if you get it changed, I'll be happiest man in the world because I won't have to fool with it. But right now, it's the law of Tennessee, and I have to enforce it. Now, if you want to plead guilty, you can today. But if you want a trial, we can give you a trial on the officer's day, which it's Officer Vincent.
Officer Vincent?
You want to fix trial day?
Yeah, we can do that.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, we can do that.
And you can make another speech.
And notice he's reaching inside of his jacket.
May 7th. Yep. Yes.
I love that he goes for matches. He didn't go for the lighter.
You really need to call. There's somebody.
Hey! We the people deserve better.
Take him to jail. Take him to jail.
That man is a motherfucking hero, unfortunately. That's the sad news. Is that he is passed away from a car wreck. Oh, I've got the ad blocker on. 21-year-old Lebanon man died from a crash on Interstate 40 late Wednesday. This was actually a couple of weeks ago. I just found out. Happened on January 21st. Spencer Boston was his name. Killed driving a 2009 Nissan Altima. He lost control and struck a traffic barrier. Well, he did ask for the trial, but like they slapped him with other charges. He got contempt of court after that. So what the balls on this guy. You got to appreciate that. So he actually gave an interview where he talked about his motivation. So
I was trying to think of how.
Let's hear from him.
To get it in without getting caught, because I knew that it's marijuana, it has a smell to it.
Boston was scheduled to go before a Wilson County judge on a simple marijuana possession charge, and
I ended up taping it to my actual chest.
That set the stage for what happened next. This now viral video shows Boston at the podium before the judge, pulling out the joint, lighting it up, and puffing away. This as security then moved to take him from the courtroom.
What was it you said to the crowd?
I said, we the people deserve better, because it's ridiculous.
You pulled that joint out. Was there actually marijuana in it?
Yes, sir. There was. It was very good stuff. It smelled good, smoked good.
Of course, pot is illegal in Tennessee, and Boston now faces another possession charge. Many view what he did in court as simply wrong.
What happened in the courtroom the other day, disrespect is disrespect.
Boston says he understands why some people are upset.
Fuck your disrespect,
he
Nazi.
supports legalizing pot and felt his marijuana charge wasn't right.
If I didn't get caught with a simple possession, I wouldn't be there in the first place doing that and disrespecting them. It was just a way to grab attention, and now I will do it right from there. Like, I would never do something like that again.
Boston did note that just 1 hour later, in the very same courtroom, deputies saved the life of a man with a dose of Narcan.
I heard that. I heard there was an overdose in there. So I was like, really? And I'm like, that's absolutely unbelievable.
Boston sees irony that a man almost died in the same courtroom from a likely overdose of opioids. The man quickly recovered and simply walked away, but the judge sent Boston to jail for smoking a joint.
Rest in peace, Boston. That last bong rip was for you, my friend. Florida police search for cars stolen while carrying 30 vials of the COVID-19 vaccine. Of course it happened in Florida. The Plant City Police Department said Thursday that it is searching for a man suspected of having stolen the vehicle with 30 vials inside that had parked near a vaccination site in the city where Florida's winter strawberries are harvested. Why? That was an odd thing to throw in, where Florida's winter strawberries are harvested. I don't know how that plays into the story. It's always fucking Florida. Donald Trump is Florida man now. The police incident report says the gray Hyundai Accent has been left with the engine running and unlocked by a driver who worked for CDR McGuire, a contractor hired for vaccination scheduling and logistic support. The company said in a statement that its employee was taking vaccine vials in temperature-controlled coolers from the Hillsborough County Department of Health in Tampa. The 21-year-old driver is not considered a suspect. Well, that's interesting. In South Carolina, it seems that there's a scam going on involving exemption cards. I wonder, like...
Face mask exemption ID cards are being sold online.
So they're being sold. So grifters are selling these motherfuckers to idiots that think they can show these inside stores and get away with not wearing a mask.
And News Nation's Kimberly Brown is in South Carolina, where emergency management officials are warning the public about this latest scam.
Face mask exempt cards are making a second round on social
media. Ships in nitrogen shield container.
Management officials say they are fake.
There are no avenues for someone.
Well, I wonder if it's somebody that just stole
a mask. It's just not.
The car was running, so it's somebody that just stole a car. They didn't realize they stole vials of vaccine. It would be weird if it was somebody like staking out the site and stealing vials of vaccine, right? But then again, it could have been. There are people that probably think that they could sell vaccines on the black market, make a good chunk of cash. Who fucking knows? All right.
Something that's available to anyone.
The card circulating online has the U.S. Department of Justice written on it and even a medical decal. Responding to complaints, the DOJ officials issued a warning telling people to beware. COVID touched Laquan Sullivan's family. His mother-in-law recently got over it. He's concerned that fake cards will encourage people not to wear masks, but knows the rest of his family is protected.
As if the dumb fucks need any more encouragement.
Or nothing like that, because it keeps everybody else safe. You might not want to be safe, but it keeps the people around you safe.
Officials,
yeah, they would just grab the container. But then again, if it's easy like that, you just hop in the car and take it.
Wearing a face mask possesses a mental and or physical risk to
I just like,
under the American with Disabilities.
if I'm trying to think like a criminal, if I'm trying to sell vaccines, unless I have a buyer already lined up, you know, they're like, we're talking like a lot of work here. Because you don't want to just steal the vaccine because, like, it expires, one. It's hard to store. But then again, maybe if it's a dumb fuck trying to steal a vaccine, we're thinking way too much into this. Not that I don't enjoy that kind of thing, though. Now, Dr. Fauci.
Disabilities Act, ADA, I am not required to disclose my condition to you.
Says,
finally, it's not
if you're going to have a Super Bowl party, you should keep it to
We've got the Super Bowl
yourself.
coming up on Sunday. We are used to having indoor Super Bowl parties. I don't have to tell you about everybody reaching into the same bowl of nachos. How concerned are you, and what's your
I'm making
message to folks
nachos
as they think about getting together for the Super Bowl?
Well, you know, every time we do have something like this, there always is a spike, be it a holiday, Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving. As you mentioned, Super Bowl is a big deal in the United States. Enjoy the game, watch it on television, but do it with the immediate...
I'm going to enjoy the concert. I'm looking forward to the weekend.
As much fun as it is to get together on a big Super Bowl party, now is not the time to do that. Watch the game and enjoy it, but do it with your family or with people that are in your household.
And who do you got, Chiefs or the Bucks?
Oh, dear.
Okay,
Well,
never mind.
No, I don't want to go there, Samantha.
Not your game. Okay, no.
He's not the only one that doesn't want to go there. Biden also apparently doesn't want to go there.
Yeah, so we know the president's doing an interview before the Super Bowl on Sunday. I mean, I'm guessing that's going to be an opportunity to reach a huge audience with your recovery plan. Is that going to be what he's going to use it for? And I guess also I'd like to know how will the president be watching the game and who he'll be rooting for?
Who he'll be rooting for? Oh, boy. That's my first way to get hate mail from one part of the country. There's a division among our senior staff, I will admit, on this particular question, but I won't name names. The president will be watching the game in Delaware with his family, of course, his wife, Dr. Biden. In terms of the interview...
Ooh, gotta throw that Dr. Biden in there.
Super Bowl this year. And
make the right-wingers' heads explode.
Of networks doing an interview with the president. So that will certainly be part of what you will see on Sunday. He, of course, will... the anchor who is doing the interview will ask whatever the anchor wants to ask. That's how these things occur. But his objective is certainly to convey to the American people that he knows this time is difficult.
She's wearing red. Does that indicate that
he's incredibly
the
grateful
Biden administration is on the side of the red team?
Workers to people who are working every day to keep us safe. And hopefully he will have the opportunity to reiterate the measures that we can take. Masking, social distancing, of course, ensuring that people are getting the vaccine when they're eligible to get the vaccine, and update the public on his efforts to do exactly.
Now, now, if you go shopping for your Super Bowl feast, do not.
Tonight, video that looks like it was taken pre-pandemic. The Oaks Farm seed-to-table market in Naples, Florida.
Dude, it's a fucking Florida. Naples, Florida. Every single one of them. No fucking mask. What?
Captures the country's divide, with many customers and employees visibly not wearing masks.
That's an old lady.
Clear messaging that wearing masks can slow the spread of COVID-19.
The CDC makes recommendations based on data that they accumulate because it's a science-based organization.
When we first
because they procreate that much,
we were directed to this sign.
They're constantly
stating the
fucking.
Mask exemption guidelines. Those in our lovely government have ordered all persons entering indoor facilities to wear a mask. If you have a medical condition that prevents you from wearing a mask, you are exempt. We cannot legally ask you about your medical condition. Therefore, if we see you without a mask, we will assume you have a medical condition. Alfred Oaks is the store's owner, known for his conservative.
Oh yeah, he looks like a Trumper.
Is your position then about medical exemptions, or is it about the fact that you don't think masks work and that the virus is not a real thing?
I know that the masks don't work, and I know that the virus has not killed 400,000 people in this country. That's total hogwash.
Oaks, who organized getting a bus of people to Washington, D.C. on January 6th to support former President
It's way more than 400,000 now, isn't it?
Attributed to COVID are due to other causes.
I'm not going to do it. I've never worn a mask in my life, and I never will.
Yesterday, more than 3,000 people died from the coronavirus in the United States. Oaks' store, a stark contrast to the hundreds of public stores in Florida equipped with plexiglass checkout counters, social distancing rules, even pharmacies administering vaccines. On social media,
450,000 people.
One person tweeting,
God
"I can't stop watching this.
damn.
My jaw is literally on my desk." Another said, "We should exempt them from the vaccine line then."
Sam, you stumbled upon this scene today while covering it.
Now, I saw a bunch of right-wingers getting all upset about we should exempt them from the vaccine line. Holy shit. I really did. I made a lot of predictions as we went along with this pandemic, and I've been wrong. I have completely misjudged the country's ability to just not give a fuck about mass death. Fuck. Now, back to the football stories. The NFL has written to the Biden administration and is offering all stadiums as vaccine sites, which is super cool. So, obtained by the Associated Press on Friday, NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, I think it's Goodell, said many of the stadiums should be able to get vaccination efforts moving quickly because of previous offers to use stadiums as virus testing centers and election sites. 7 clubs already using their stadiums as vaccine sites are Arizona, Atlanta, Baltimore, Carolina, Houston, Miami, and New England. Goodell said, "We look forward to further discussion with your administration as well as your partners in state and local government." So, the Super Bowl is going to have some fans this year, but only a few K. The Weeknd is going to be singing his vocals live, which is something I'm very much looking forward to. But this is an explanation of what exactly the Super Bowl is going to look like.
But because of COVID, the stadium will be more than half empty. Jamie Yuccas is in Tampa right now to show us how the NFL is getting creative to make the stadium look full, even though it's not. Jamie, good morning to you. No snow.
I thought it was way more than half.
Yeah, good morning, Tony. With only 6
was like 20%
days to go between now and game day, organizers are hitting the final stretch. And as you mentioned, we will see only about 20
Florida everywhere
come Sunday, which is nearly a third of its capacity, including roughly 7,500 vaccinated healthcare workers.
They often hold the Super Bowl in Florida, but I think that's just because of the temperature.
So the NFL went looking for a solution.
It's usually like Florida, Arizona.
10 years ago, this print right now would take us
New
about
Orleans.
an hour to print. But with these speeds and these new lights, it takes about 45 seconds.
Jared Smith has been in the printing
So they're going to do
business for 20
cutouts
years.
for the crowds.
His Tempe, Arizona company, Blue Media,
So like
and their
MLB was doing that as well, I think.
was tapped by the NFL to help with a Super Bowl-sized problem.
The league had a challenge of, do we fill the
They go to different cities, but it's always kind of like in the
What is
South.
socially responsible as far as the amount of fans that we can allow?
They'll go to Texas or New Orleans or
The
Florida.
tens of thousands of real fans who will be so.
But it's like every other year they're in fucking Florida.
Stadium will be these plastic recyclable cardboard-like cutouts submitted from football fans around the world. They're all created here in Arizona and all part of the NFL's program called
Submitted from around the world.
For $100 per cutout, fans uploaded their photos online.
Wait, you had to pay $100 to do that? No fucking way.
Producing between 20 and 30,000 cutouts for the Super Bowl by the time it's all said and done. You know, every single one of these, they're actual people, and they're from all over the country, and it's cool to see almost everybody is smiling, just the concept that they're going to get to be in the game.
What a rip.
Just like their living counterparts, the cutouts started showing up in Tampa this past weekend.
Who's this first one?
Look at that.
Oh, Minnesota Viking Matt Burke.
Okay.
Did you know I'm a Viking fan?
I did not know that. We opened it up to each segment.
Why would he know that?
Director of execution for Blue Media and is responsible for installation.
We'll have basically a 7-day install.
Karen, not everybody cares about your favorite football team.
Game time's on the 7th, and then we tear it all out on the 8th.
By this morning, Blue Media tells us they will have nearly half of their cutouts already installed, and they're being specially grouped, including sections for military veterans, healthcare workers, and cancer survivors.
One of the cool stories, once we installed those, we saw 30, 35 mile an hour winds, and the fan cutouts were moving a little bit. At first we were concerned, but when you step back, it looked like the fans were cheering, and it was really cool.
No one's liking the fact that we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Right.
Is this a way to make it fun?
How do we come together as a community, both celebrating fans and then honoring heroes? And this is a great way to do it. So we're excited to be a part of it.
We made sure Blue Media put in a special addition to their production order. Look who's going to be at Super Bowl 55 this Sunday.
I love it.
Yay.
How fucking cheesy.
Never been thinner. Is that a
Goddamn. Well, I've been watching old Super Bowl halftime performances on the YouTube. You still can't beat Prince. Prince is the best of all time. Lady Gaga was awesome. Springsteen was cool. U2 had an awesome show right after 9/11. They had all the names of the victims come down on this sheet. My top 10. I couldn't do it. Prince is by far number one, far and away. Blew that out of the water. Lady Gaga would probably be my second favorite. Michael Jackson was kind of a letdown because he's lip syncing, but that was one of the first like major performances. Bruce Springsteen was good. I did not like the Chili Peppers. Katy Perry was all right. The Katie on the Shark was kind of cool, yeah. And she's on that lion when she's first coming in and everything. That was really neat. The Coldplay one, Beyonce was amazing. Holy fuck. And I like and when I was watching that one, I'm like, why wasn't Beyonce just like, why was Coldplay even there? Why wasn't just Beyonce the fucking halftime show? Bruno Mars was all right. I didn't care much for the Maroon 5 one. At the time I really liked Aerosmith, but that was when I was really starting to lose respect for them. It was like Aerosmith and NSYNC, and I want to say like Britney Spears was with them or some shit. The Stones were cool. Always enjoy the Stones. I'm not a big Paul McCartney fan, but he put on a good show. The Katy Perry one, when the stage was like shifting like this, like it's digital, but it looked like it was shifting, and that was really fucking cool. But I have a feeling The Weeknd is going to be way up on my list of Super Bowl halftime shows. Apparently he's going to be in the stands. He's not going to be on the field, and he's going to be singing all of his vocals live, and he spent $7 million of his own money on the show. So very much looking forward to the Weeknd concert on Sunday night. I might stick around and watch the football game if it like, that's usually what I do, is I tune in right towards the end of the first half. If the game is close, it looks like it's going to be a good game, I'll stick around for the end of it. Because I like the pageantry and everything, and then obviously I like going all out with themes. I'm doing wings and nachos and shit this weekend for the Weeknd concert. All right, I'm going to send you guys over to Riverboat Jack if you are watching on Twitch right now. That'll do it for me for this week. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Have a great weekend. Go ahead, light one up, tip one back. It's all right to have a little fun before you hit the sack. I'm Justin Freakin. We will see you Monday night on the Troll Patrol live.